You're listening to the official Push Square podcast featuring Ben and Ben. Do you push square?
Hello everybody and welcome to episode 10, that's a milestone, of the Push Square podcast. My name is Ben Potter. I am the podcast editor for the best PlayStation website on the internet, pushsquare.com. And joining me as always, even though it's only been 10 times, is Ben Tarrant. Hello Ben.
Hello Ben.
How you doing, man?
I'm suffering pretty bad of hay fever at the moment.
From hay fever?
Yeah.
You got the sniffles today?
Yeah. So I'm going to sound a little bit bunged up. Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay. I think we're both suffering today.
It's just one of those days, isn't it?
Yeah, I had a lovely 4-day weekend. I booked a couple of days off work, hanging out with a friend, a couple of friends playing video games and eating pizza and
banging your knee.
And I did. Yeah, I've got some frozen peas on my knee at the moment because I stood up too fast, because that's the kind of rock and roll lifestyle that I lead.
Getting old.
It's rubbish. It's really rubbish. And then I've got like a mouth ulcer going on,
really?
And a bit of a headache, and I just feel furious about everything. So
you woke up angry today.
I did. I gave you a call. I don't know. You said you've never had that, but I'm sure some people will be able to sympathise when you wake up and you're just furious for no reason, and everything just irritates you.
Just rage when you wake up.
I don't know what's going. See, there goes my knuckles. I just need
falling apart.
Just need to have a lie down in the sleep, I think. Now I want to address it before we move on. I have had a change of title.
Yes.
I am now the podcast editor. I have rescinded my duties as video editor of Push Square because I felt that after my public shaming and the sex scandal, it was only right that I step down. No, I've got another position involved with video production, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank Push Square for all they've done for me in terms of allowing me to sort of experiment with video.
Yeah, definitely.
And I had a great time working on their channel. I'm sure whoever takes it over will do a fantastic job. But I am staying on in a podcast capacity.
Yes.
And we will continue this mother. We've got to discuss the future at some point as well. We'll discuss it on a future episode, but this new job does require me to relocate to another part of the country. So we are going to work out... I'm afraid. We've got to work out the logistics of how we're going to do it, but this podcast will continue.
Hopefully so,
by hook or by crook. Is that the phrase?
I think so.
I don't really know what that means. If anyone knows the origins of that phrase, you let us know.
Isn't it a shepherd's crook?
Maybe. Hook, though?
They have the hook on the end. I don't know.
But is that the crook? I don't know.
Words.
We've got a good show, though, for you. As we always have, we've got some big news points, which we'll discuss in a second. We've also got a feature, the top 20 games still to come in 2016. We've got a review. There's no huge blockbuster games this month, which is weird, because we've had a big one every show. This week, we've got Joey Thurmond back on, reviewer for pushsquare.com, to talk about Umbrella Corps. Would you say corpse is core, isn't it?
Isn't that like the whole lieutenant lark?
I suppose so. Americans might say corpse. We'll discuss it with Joey.
Yes, we'll ask.
He'll let us know, but I'm fairly sure it's core if you're in the UK. C-O-R-P-S-Q. Oh, yeah. Y new 57.
You're struggling there.
Yeah.
Spelling.
We've also got some... we've got a news section that we're going to be discussing. What is that, Mr. Tarrant?
That's a spin on Push Square's weekly article, What Are You Playing?
Yeah.
Where we just talk about what we're playing.
Oh, it's groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah, it's a miracle that we managed to come up with that.
And Furi is this week's indie bin. It's on PS Plus, right?
Yeah, free for PS Plus this month.
Excellent. Well, let's get started.
Let's do this.
News points. Rockstar is up first, they don't often do stuff at E3, admittedly, but I think we were all expecting...
Red Dead 2.
Exactly.
Yeah, there was a lot of rumblings and stuff.
The leaked map.
Yeah, I'm not unconvinced it was a ploy, kind of a self-leaked, to detract from the ongoing legal issues they were having.
Oh, possibly.
They've done it before. It's unsurprising that it all kind of happened at the same time. It seems too good to be accidental.
I suppose so, but equally it could be a far less nasty.
Yeah, I'm just bitter and go straight
Yeah,
for the
they
nefarious
could have been far less nefarious, and it
Could
could
have
have
been
been just sort
completely
of like,
coincidental.
hey, you guys remember Red Dead? And oh my god, I love Red Dead, go with it. And like, good, we're doing the right thing here.
So what are they doing now? Because it's not Red Dead.
Yes, they're bringing the 2005 PS2 title, The Warriors, to PS4 with trophies and that kind of stuff.
Did we ask for that? Do we need it? Do we want it?
I don't know.
Is it good?
The more games that have that, the better, I suppose. I never played it. Did you play it?
Mate, now's our opportunity to play it.
I suppose so. Good stuff. Next up, Little Big Planet servers.
They're being closed in Japan, and then select ones in the West are also getting cut, which is sad.
It's sad. Have they specified which Little Big Planet? Is it Little Big Planet 1?
Yeah.
Because all of those levels were playable in Little Big Planet 2, so how will that work? Will they just disappear?
They might be migrating it to just to 2.
I mean, they're old titles now.
They are old,
Little Big Planet 2 was, what, like nearly 6 years ago, maybe?
Jeez. I mean, for servers in general, you've got to remember that when you purchase something that has online components, those online components are on loan to you.
Yeah,
you don't
not
own
guaranteed.
access to those,
It's like you can still buy copies of MAG if you want.
but you can't play it.
There's nothing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a shame. I really don't know what the player base is like at this point, but if they're moving in another direction, then fair enough. I don't know.
Maybe they're refocusing, because servers cost a lot of money to keep them going. Maybe they're refocusing
Yeah,
on a new title.
it could well be. PlayStation VR. It's not even released yet.
Nope.
But it's already sold out in most places.
Which I'm not surprised at.
Yeah,
they're gonna
it's exciting tech.
produce an allotment to handle at launch.
Mm.
I mean, it happened with the PS4, didn't it? That it sold out really early on.
Yeah, or at least when it launched, you couldn't find one
Yeah.
in a lot of places.
Coming up on eBay for thousands of pounds.
I mean, hell, when my brother came to stay with me a couple of months ago,
Yep.
and he came here with the intention of buying a PS4. We went to 3 places that were sold out of PS4s this
Really?
year. I think,
Wow.
to be fair, it was a problem with some kind of shipping chain of...
Still, if they haven't
Stuff.
got loads sitting on the shelves,
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
That's a good sign. So we had to go to somewhere else, like some dodgy back alley kind of deal, where the guy like had a trench coat.
a really big trench coat
You looking for PS4s?
filled with
You're looking for-
parallelograms.
What?
That's what they're shaped like parallelograms, aren't they?
I suppose you're right. Yeah. Let's get
Massive.
Let's get mathsy up in here.
Massive pockets.
But that's fantastic news.
That's really good, really promising.
We did
for
express some concern
tech.
about the games that were on offer, be they more experiences than actual
Yes.
titles at this point. But the more support it has, the more likely bigger devs are going to say, maybe we
Yeah.
won't develop a title for it, but we will patch our game to support VR.
I also think these experiences are going to give people a better view of PSVR, purely because...
To show off what it can do.
Yeah, and also I don't think the resolution and stuff is at a stage right now where you can spend hours in it.
Yeah,
Would you want to?
not really.
So maybe an hour, 2 hour gimmick is a good thing.
Yeah, I suppose so, but really I think, we discussed it on a previous show, I think that the real game changer, because what we've seen from VR so far is just the games we've already got but played in VR.
Yeah.
I think someone is going to come out of left field, be it an indie developer, probably an indie developer,
Hopefully.
who's just going to completely blow everything out of the water and create
Yeah.
some crazy new genre of fusion kind of thing that's like, so this is why you need a VR. You can
That's where it
only
needs to
have
come
this
from,
on
though.
VR. So until we get that, we're just going to get games we've already got but played in VR, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I'm very much looking forward to the day where someone just blows everyone's minds and
Yeah,
comes out with something
definitely.
utterly insane.
It will happen.
Yeah. What's next?
Well, this is your gig.
Oh yeah, it is. Persona 5
Can
weirdly
you hear the joy in his voice already?
confirmed that it was coming to EU already. We kind of knew that, but then there was some doubt when Sega just went, "Hey, we're Sega. We're kind of crazy and we do what we want. We're not going to publish it in Europe." And everyone in Europe went, "Why?" They said, "Oh, because we're going to get Deep Silver to publish it instead." And everyone went, "Why? Why can't Sega do it?" It doesn't matter. Anyway, Deep Silver are publishing Persona 5 in Europe, as well as a couple of other Sega titles as
I
well.
was just going to say, according to a press release, it's that and a collection of titles.
So they've worked out some kind of deal, but it's still very strange. I don't know why Sega wouldn't do it. No, just a shrug. Just a shrug from everyone. Whatever, we're getting Persona 5. We don't have a release date yet. I've still got my pre-order from American Amazon.
You might as well keep it because it's going to be later,
I know.
whichever way it goes.
I know. Wouldn't it be amazing if it said, and it's coming out in tomorrow? What? No, of course not. That'd be ridiculous.
Is it coming out? Is it coming out on PS3?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
But I am happy for one reason, because I made... My sister doesn't play games.
Okay.
But for some reason, I persuaded her to buy a Vita.
Sure.
Right? And I lent her my copy of Persona 4, and she is obsessed with it, right?
Really?
She's not a gamer at all, but she loves Persona 4 so much that she wants to get the Platinum Trophy in it.
Wow.
Which is madness.
Takes after you.
It was the only game she has. And she's played a couple of other games on Vita, and like none of them really grabbed her. But this, for some reason, she's obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And she's got my old chunky PS3.
The fat.
Yeah. And so she was always really excited about Persona 5 because it was always coming to PS3, and then there was some doubt about whether or not we'd get the PS3 version because there was a lot of silence for a long time. But it looks like, even if it's only released in the States, there will be an English localized version on PS3, so she can play it, which is great. There are still people out there that want to do that. Can you hear my stomach?
You hungry?
I am. I haven't eaten dinner yet. I came straight from work.
Yeah, same.
And I've got frozen peas on my lap. I'm considering them. Just chowing down.
A little popcorn.
Frozen peas. Oh, it'd be awful. Battlefield 1. Excuse me. Now, the news is here that it's going to launch with 10 maps, but this was actually part of a bigger story. Did you see this? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? It has been data mined, I believe.
Yeah, that's
the beta. They found out everything.
Really?
They found out character names, the amount of chapters in the story.
Why don't they lock
all
this
the
stuff
weapons? Yeah, it's pretty crazy. The various packs you're going to be able to buy for the multiplayer DLC wise.
Really?
Yeah, everything. They found it all out.
Oh my god!
And at the top of the Reddit leak, it just says "Sorry EA/DICE" and then like a heart symbol. It's like, well, I mean, someone's going to leak it. If you're going to give people access to it, even if he feels bad about it, it is.
At least he has remorse.
Yeah, I suppose so. It could just be for show though. But it looks pretty good, and there's I'm excited to see the campaign, and I'm hoping that as and I know we're saying as we've discussed quite a bit so far this episode, but as we've discussed before, at least as I have mentioned, I am concerned about the tone of the game given the wob-wobs and the stuff in the trailer.
Wob-wobs.
And I'm hoping that is purely to hype up the multiplayer because that's where they're going to make their money. That's what people are going to come for.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they are able to separate the wob-wob excitement of the multiplayer with a more grounded, impactful single player that is a bit more respectful to
because we've seen it done. Spec Ops: The Line managed it beautifully.
Yeah, and it had a crap multiplayer and everything.
There you go.
But this multiplayer, by all accounts, is very good. I've watched some gameplay footage. Looks very exciting. I'll be crap at it probably because I haven't played a multiplayer game.
I'm useless at them.
First-person shooter.
That's a lie. I'm
the
amazing.
Advent of the
I'm
PS3. You're amazing, are you?
I'm amazing at Destiny.
You're the best Destiny that ever Destinied.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. We'll have to test that at some point. I'm freezing my knee.
When you buy the DLC. When you buy the
Destiny DLC.
DLC.
Yeah. No. Next, what we got?
Blizzard are hiring for an undisclosed Diablo project. By undisclosed, it probably means Diablo 4.
Really? What was the gap like between Diablo 2 and 3? I felt like it was a really, really long
really long time.
So
it was like over 6 years, I think.
Well, you've got to remember that Blizzard can absolutely do no wrong at all, ever, according to most Blizzard fans.
They do seem to just disappear for ages and then come back and go, oh, we still exist, here's an amazing game, bye.
And they are only hiring at this point, obviously. So
yes.
Pre-production.
Yes. So it's still very early days, but it's cool that they are still working on the title.
Yeah, I played it briefly, Diablo 3 on
I like Diablo
PS3. 3. It wasn't really for me, but I did play it by myself, and I can see why
it's good when you play it in a group.
Fun with other people.
Much more fun. Much more fun.
Shenmue 3 is still bloody miles away.
Apparently so.
Which is, I don't know why people are overly surprised about that, because they only funded the bloody thing a year ago.
Yeah.
So how far could it really have come? Especially how ambitious, even from just looking at... Because the tiers of rewards for funding it read very much to me like the game's proposal.
Really?
Like, if you give us $100, you will have a name in this thing, and it's like listing all these features that the game is going to have. It's like, those are some quite
cool things,
optimistic features. I'm confident that you can do it, obviously with the bloody budget you've got now. But that's going to take some time.
Well, they've got a bigger budget now as well, because Sony stepped in and thrown money at them as well.
Yeah. I can see you've written on the notes there that the nefarious nature of crowdfunded titles.
Yes.
And you might see this slightly differently to how I do, but
okay.
I agree in terms of there is this potential issue when you've got crowdfunded titles. But for me, it's more a case of I don't really like games being announced years and years ahead of them actually releasing. Death Stranding, Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
With a crowdfunded title, you have to lay all your cards on the table immediately. You're like, hey, we're going to make this game that people absolutely love, a new addition to the series that people have a real fondness for. But at the moment, we just want to make it. And that's the stage we're at. So you've got to know about this from the very, very advent of them even considering making it. And so we're going to be hearing about this game for bloody years.
Yeah.
Until it's finished. And that wouldn't be the case if it was funded by Sony, for example. We would hear about it maybe a year and a half out. But now we've got to hear about it when they first started production. And it's going to take them absolutely ages.
And I guess games, from that point where they lay all their cards on the table, those cards have to change. Because when you start making a game, halfway through, 3/4 of the way through, you don't know what things you're going to come up against. You can't kind of foresee that. So it makes sense that games like Mighty No. 9 take these hits.
Games change massively over the course of production. They
look at Destiny.
They just have to. They just have to. I mean, some cases it's a bit more baffling than in other cases. For example, gutting your story out.
And chucking them in Grimoire cards.
Yeah, Grimoire cards. Did you ever write that article, by the way?
No.
About how Destiny's story is really good, but it's just in the Grimoire cards.
I wrote it. It got stolen, didn't it?
Did it?
Yeah, I don't think it came up anywhere in the end, but I wrote about this for Vice, actually. Self-plug here. But I got caught up in a scandal where people were lying about working for a website that was paying blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. You had to show them an article to kind of get considered to shortlist and stuff, and they just took everyone's articles, and then it all unravelled that it was a scam.
And those are the people that you gave the article to?
Yeah.
But it hasn't showed up?
I think it showed up on some really small traffic websites. So,
God damn it. Did it at least have your name?
No.
That
of course not.
Just disgusting.
I wasn't too fussed. But yeah, I've got it written up. I can see if Sammy will run it.
That's your honest belief that this story is there, but it's just in the Grimoire cards.
The story's fantastic. If you sit down and actually read these Grimoire cards...
Oh, come on. That's the worst sentence ever.
Yeah, I know. The story's great if you printed them out and turned it into a book. Yeah. In that respect. It's not good as a game.
But that's a failure. That is a failure on their part.
Yeah.
That's a huge failure.
But the story could be really good if they put it out of the Grimoire cards.
It's a fascinating world. It's just vacant and sterile and empty.
Yes. Barren.
Finally, the Bioshock collection has been formally announced.
Well, I for one am surprised. I never saw this coming.
No, not at all. No,
not at all. They really kept this under wraps. Not even a leak anywhere to be seen.
But you would have surely anticipated them doing something like this. See, that's the problem there. I kind of got that you were being sarcastic to begin with.
No, I was obviously being sarcastic.
And then your facial expression stayed completely the same throughout. I was like, hang on, is he joking?
That is good sarcasm delivery, that.
Right. Sarcasm where you clue the person in and then go... But are you being sarcastic about being sarcastic? Stop being such a meta-sarcasm, man.
But yeah, I mean, that had more leaks than Rapture, so...
Oh, snap. Check that out. I've got a Bioshock tattoo.
You do?
But I will not be playing this.
No?
I don't need to play it again.
It's 35 quid.
I know.
It's a lot of money.
You get a lot of pizza with 35 quid.
You can.
Can you honestly tell me you'd rather have Bioshock collection than a dozen Tesco pizzas?
Yes, actually, I really wanted to play the original Bioshock.
There's something very
recently,
wrong with you.
and Bioshock Infinite again, but I don't want to boot up my PS3. Simple as.
Fair enough.
I'll wait until it goes down to 15.
Great opportunity for a lot of players who've never touched them before as well to give it a go.
Also, what we've been seeing with remasters is that the company that does the remaster is generally working on a new title.
Yeah, I doubt that it'll actually be... I mean...
Not necessarily another Bioshock, but even if something...
Who's the dev of these games?
Irrational.
They don't even exist anymore, do they?
They do, but not in the same capacity.
So it'll probably be someone else that 2K are getting to port it. a competent studio.
Oh, yeah. But it feeds money into the title, is what I mean, into the franchise. 2K might be doing something with
2K
it.
will probably have some other developer working on it. If it hasn't got Ken Levine involved, I'm not
A mobile
overly
game
interested.
where you just play the hacking mini game.
Oh, kill me now. That's our news. Let's move on to a feature. It's feature time. The top 20 games still to come in 2016. We've already expressed that there's a bit of a drought in quality titles now.
Yeah, July's been quiet.
I haven't got anything on my horizon other than Mafia 3 in October. But Sammy Barker has written up... Is it Sammy Barker that did this? King Barker, Editor Barker? Put together this top 20 list of games what are coming out this year.
It's a surprising amount, actually.
It's a good list.
Really, really good stuff coming out.
I mean, there's some dodgy Japanese rubbish on here.
Weeaboo rubbish.
Bloody Robert Ramsey, Associate Editor Ramsey's got.
He definitely put these in as well.
Probably. But let's run through them. I mean, it's numbered 1 to 20. Do we start at 20 and go to 1? No, it's not, obviously, because it's done by date as well. It's just got numbers next to it. Ignore me. So, coming out on the 19th of July, I Am Satsuma. No, I Am Setsuna is what it's called. It's the first game from the JRPG, or the RPG Factory, whatever it's called. The new Square Enix thing. It looks very pretty. I am concerned that this will be, for me, similar to Child of Light, which looked very pretty. And I like the idea of it, but it just did not grab me. And the problem I have with these games where they look really cool, and I love the art style and I love the mechanics and stuff. Rainbow Moon did the same thing for me as well, where I really like it.
Yep.
But what grabs me about Japanese role-playing games is the story, the characters.
Like Persona.
Yeah, and there was nothing in Child of Light for me that kept me
really
stuck
so generic.
in. Same with Rainbow Moon as well. Like I love the world, I love how it's all going, but there's nothing compelling really to keep me going.
Yeah.
And I'm worried that this will be the same, where it's just sort of like, a class-based classic JRPG, but there's nothing going on. You just work your way through dungeons and at the end, and it's some loose narrative about saving the world. And that will be a shame. And I'm hoping that's not the case, but it does come out in a couple of weeks' time, so we'll find out.
We shall.
What's next?
No Man's Sky.
No Man.
The Sky of Nobody. That's a man.
Is that the subtitle of the game? That's on the box.
I fixed it.
Good. That's on August the 9th in the States and August the 10th in Europe. Do you reckon it'll live up to the hype?
No.
No, me neither.
I reckon it'll bomb in a fiery ball of disappointment. And I'd go to get it.
I think the problem here is that people's expectations are different from what the actual product will.
Why has it got so much hype?
Well, I think it'll be a perfectly sound game for what it does.
Yeah.
But I think people completely overestimate what you do in it. People are looking for an EVE Online. People are looking for a Mass Effect style story of like flying around the galaxy with your mates and like mining stuff and then docking on a space station. It's just you. It's just you exploring the universe and claiming planets and incredible technology.
It's going to be really
a huge
lonely.
feat to be able to actually program this infinite, randomly generated universe. That's fantastic.
But why when no one's going to want to explore it? Or
people are going to be coming into it with completely the wrong idea, and that is why it's going to struggle. I think it's going to be a fine game, and I think they deserve all the respect in the world for actually doing what they are doing. But
power to them.
People don't understand what it is, and that's the problem.
I don't think... It's Sean Murray, isn't it?
Sean Murray.
I don't think he even understands what it is.
You've got to go to the centre of the universe in an unending universe, so good luck with that.
Yeah.
Next up, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, August the 23rd. Deus Ex Human Revolution was one of those games that I thought was beautiful, and I liked playing it, but I didn't really enjoy it.
I've not played any of them. I want to jump in on this. This looks really good. They're doing like a summit on human modifications and stuff.
Are they?
I'm bunged up in every orifice right now.
Oh my god, every orifice!
Well, every single one.
Jeez. This will be one where I wait to see what the best PlayStation website on the world has to say about it.
Yeah.
I would, as much as review scores are a force for evil in this world and the galaxy beyond it,
it's nice to see someone else's opinion.
I still want to read what someone else thinks about it first.
Read, don't scroll.
Scroll
to the bottom.
I still want to scroll and look at the number, you know?
the arbitrary
get a tangible
number
grasp on
that
what it
invalidates hours of work on a review. I'm not bitter.
Next up,
King of Fighters. I can't read
go
Roman
on. We
numerals.
did Roman numerals. So the first one is
10.
X is 10, and then IV
is 4.
Yes.
14.
Yes.
Yes!
It is.
Smashed it. King of Fighters 14. I didn't know there were 13 other King of Fighters.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
You would have
of
thought they
games.
would have decided who the King of Fighters was by now.
They really need to get their straight.
They really do. Oh my goodness, they really do. 23rd of August in the States and the 26th in the EU. 3 entire days. Pfft, I hope it bombs.
They probably have found the King of Fighters by then.
I hope so. Shouldn't take that long. Shouldn't take 13 games. Because it's clearly a Japanese game, do you reckon these 13 games were released over the space of 6 months?
I was going to say.
Because you cannot have had 13 consecutive years, 14 consecutive years of King of Fighter, or even longer than that. Or maybe you can. I don't know.
Oh my god.
That is a disturbing amount of
that's
fighting
a lot.
games.
But it's completely fall under the
There
radar
aren't
as
even
well.
that many Street Fighter games. We are speaking from a place of complete ignorance.
Yeah, we are.
But from an
We have no
outsider
idea.
looking in, how could anyone possibly want a fighting game this regularly? And how bad was the last one that you need another one this quickly? Because you can't really f*** up a fighting game, can you? If you've got the formula and you've got your characters, how do you need to
just
do
make it
that
more
again,
pretty, don't
over
you?
and over again? Like, whatever. Anyway, that's one of the top 20 games that we're very excited for.
Ramsey.
Robert Ramsey. God Eater 2, 30th of August. You've made a note here that says you're excited for it. Please tell me.
I was having a bit of a fallout with my Vita. I was looking to sell it. It was just gathering dust on my desk. So I did a big search on games that were looking interesting. And God Eater came up as something that was due for release on Vita. It's already got a Japanese release. And it looks kind of Final Fantasy, but dark enough for me to be interested.
Okay.
And if you buy it, God Eater 2, you get God Eater Resurrection as well. So you get 2 games for like 20 quid on Vita. Really good. But it looks really interesting. It's like a turn-based.
So, dark
RPG.
enough is the reason that you weren't really into Final Fantasy? Because for me, one of the reasons I love Final Fantasy VII so much is because it's such a dark game.
I think like on the face of it, a lot of them look a bit... I haven't actually played...
7.
Yeah.
Or any of them.
Any of them. But I wanted to get something that wasn't as... like, there wasn't hundreds of.
A lot of them are a bit cutesy.
Yeah.
But 7, in my opinion, is the reason I fell in love with it so much is because it's so dark and gritty.
But isn't 7 that one you showed me where you have to press the button at the same time?
Oh yeah, that's
ridiculous.
Part of it. Yeah,
also, it looks terrible. It
it's
looks aged so
97.
much. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. This is a bit more modern.
I know, but you still owe it to yourself to play it. If
Yeah,
I can force myself to go back through and play Metal Gear Solid 1,
I will.
then you
I will.
need to go and play
It's in
Final
my
Fantasy
basket.
7.
Waiting to. I will.
You bloody better.
I got Persona 4, did I not?
And how far have you got with that?
I've sunk 22 hours into it.
Good job. Are you enjoying it?
No.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not.
Well, then I don't want to talk to you. Say the next one.
Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, 30th of September. I played the demo, quite liked it.
This is the one that was at E3, wasn't it? This is the new... Yeah,
This is a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks rubbish.
Oh, yeah, there was a terrible
The
trailer.
demo was so bad.
There
at
was a
E3.
terrible trailer. Terrible trailer. I am cautiously optimistic for this. I wasn't previously, but I quite enjoyed the demo. The problem I have with the newer Final Fantasies is that they are so clean.
Yeah?
They are so clean and they look like a CGI movie, which in many regards is a good thing.
I was going to say, is that a criticism?
But equally, it's missing that dirt, it's missing that grit, it's missing that grunge that really made the Final Fantasy series appealing to me when I first got into it with 7.
Okay.
It's just, you know, you're whacking these enemies and there's nothing happening, and it feels, I don't really have the language to describe it. It just feels a bit too clean, a bit too clinical.
Clinical.
It just doesn't feel, you know, tangible enough. I'm struggling to describe it, but it feels like it's missing something that makes it like a proper game rather than just kind of playing through a very pretty film.
See, I watched that E3 demo of it, and it looked sluggish and chaotic and backwards. And honestly, the people playing it didn't look like they knew what they were doing either. Took him half the demo to work out how to get onto the thing's arm.
Well, we'll have to see, won't we?
It just looks overcomplicated and silly.
We'll have to see. Number 6, that's number 6 on our list of top 20 games to look forward to. A resounding sign of endorsement from Mr. Tarrant. Number 7 is Mafia 3, releasing on the 7th of October. I'm very much looking forward to this.
You actually have a poster up
Oh,
in
I
your room,
do,
don't
yeah.
you?
There's a Mafia 3 poster. It looks like a movie poster. It's really cool. Loved Mafia 2. It's just a really nice spin on the sandbox crime genre.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it definitely has a place, and they're a talented dev, and I'm really excited to see how it all turns out.
Cool.
I'm looking forward to that. Next up, Battlefield 1, 21st of October. We'll see.
Shooty bang bang.
We'll see about whether the Wobs sneak on into the more
I love the wub-wubs.
into the more grounded section. Number 9, Ben.
The Last Guardian, which is the 25th of October. We got very confused as to when it was releasing last episode.
Okay.
23rd, 25th, what? 25th.
25th, okay.
Which I think everyone that owns a PlayStation console is excited for.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Not you?
Yeah. I mean, it looks like Ico.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to wait and
Really?
see what people think before I buy it. I'm not instantly sold on this one.
They're actually still having issues with Trico. Trico?
Is that the bird man?
Yeah, having issues with him and his AI still.
Oh,
so
good.
That doesn't bode.
Only 25 years into development, which is fantastic. Releasing on the same day in America is World of Final Fantasy, and on the 28th of October in Europe. This is sort of a weird, cutesy, chibi style. I don't really know. I don't know what
Isn't
this
it like
is.
an MMO? Like a
No, it's not
kiddie
an
version
MMO.
of World of Warcraft?
It's like a kiddie Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But I don't really understand. It's going to have lots of cameos from various different characters, but they all kind of look the same anyway. So when they're cutesy cartoonified, it's very difficult to tell who's who.
Right.
I don't know about this one. I don't really know. Again, it all hinges on the story and whether or not it's actually any good, because I'm not sure.
Well, let's be honest.
I still can't find a definitive description of what the hell it actually is.
And saying that, let's be honest here. It releases, for you Americans, it clashes with The Last Guardian. And for us in the EU, it clashes with Titanfall 2, which is our next one on the list. So it's buggered, let's be honest.
Yeah, Titanfall 2 we discussed in our E3 show.
Yeah,
So
it looks
we don't need to
really
go
good.
too far into that. Next up, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare on the 4th of November. So we saw the trailer at E3 and we were both kind of happy
Shocked,
with that.
yeah.
It didn't look too bad.
Didn't think it was Call of Duty until...
I
which
did.
is a positive.
Yeah. It's getting a lot of hate, but we'll have to see. I don't think there's been a Call of Duty game that's been negatively reviewed apart from the one I reviewed, Ghosts.
I liked Ghosts.
6. I know we discussed this.
Yeah.
6 out of 10 is what I gave it.
I think I gave it a 9.
You gave it a 9?
I think so.
How?
No, 8. I think I gave it an 8.
8 maximum.
I think I gave
8
it an
maximum. Anyway. Dishonored 2.
8. Dishonor Red.
Dishonored Red 2. The 11th of November. I am looking forward to that one. I'm wearing a Dishonored t-shirt right now.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's going to be good, I hope.
I'll be buying it, definitely.
Yeah, same here. Watch_Dogs 2. Yo, what's up, kids?
Straight in the bin.
How is it going? 15th of November, we will see. Gran Turismo Sport, 15th of November in the States and the 18th of November in the EU. 3 days later in the EU, so I hope it bombs. It won't, though. They sell absolute millions
Yeah,
and millions
it's got
and
its
millions of
group,
copies.
and honestly, it's nice to see PlayStation doing its proprietary sport games, its
Yeah.
motorsport games, because Gran Turismo has been quiet for a while.
It has.
So,
Yes.
yeah, good to see that back.
South Park, The Fractured But Whole, the 6th of December. Potter liked the first one. That's what you've written there. I did. I
Did
really
you?
liked
Yeah.
the I reviewed the first one. I think I gave it an 8. It was like playing through an episode of South Park, which is perhaps the biggest ringing endorsement that it's got going for it. Because it's so faithful to the source material, it's like actually being in South Park. Really, really good. And I love what they're doing with the second one. What they showed off at E3 certainly proves that they're iterating on what they've
Yeah.
already got instead of just sticking with the same formula, which to be honest I would be happy with because I'm there for the story and the characters and the ridiculous stuff that you
of
do.
course.
So very exciting. And if you pre-order now on the PlayStation Store, you get a PS4 version of the first game for free to play right now,
Which fills the gap
which
nicely.
is pretty good. Yeah, and it also takes the sting out of that high pre-order price quite a bit.
I love that name.
The Fractured But Whole.
I didn't realise it was...
It's clever, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's get around the censors.
Yeah.
Very good. Number 17, Gravity Rush 2. Also looking forward to this. Currently only slated for 2016.
In fact, the rest of this list are currently TBC 2016.
Yeah, so we'll see.
We'll see.
But I really like Gravity Rush 1. Bit simplistic in the story department, a bit tenuous, a bit
I didn't realise
floaty and rubbish.
I don't know how to phrase this without being offensive, but
Oh, God.
you know how it was sexual?
Oh, yeah, it's a bit creepy. It's a bit Japanese, isn't it? Yeah.
I didn't want to say a bit Japanese if that was...
No, it
Okay.
is. That's just Japanese culture, isn't it? You haven't got very far in Persona, but there are even bits like that where it's just... That was gratuitously unnecessary. Why did you do that?
I had a few bits, actually.
It's just weird
Yeah.
implied creepiness, and I can only imagine non-localized. It's that much worse. But it's in everything. It's in every. You watch an anime, and there are just lingering
Boobs.
weird moments of sexuality where it's like that is so unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's weird. But there we go. It's just Japanese culture. And, speaking of.
Sword Art Online.
Oh, Sword Art Online, Hollow Realization 2016. I watched a bit of the anime for this.
It's on Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah, I watched a bit of the first season, and it got to some bit where there was where they found a child,
Right.
and because basically the story is, and it's a really cool concept. This game comes out called Sword Art Online, and it's like a virtual reality.
Yeah, they go
thing.
in the game.
They
don't
go into the game to play it, and then it turns out that it was a ruse, and they all get trapped in the game. And so if you
Psych.
die in the game, you die in real life.
So it's the Matrix.
Kind of.
Anime
yeah.
Matrix.
So they all get
Animatrix.
stuck
That's
in
a film.
Stop it. They all get stuck in there, and they have to basically work together, but there are obviously people who become evil because they're like, I'm going to kill you and take your stuff, and then I'm going to level up, and
Oh, cool.
that kind of thing. So basically this kid's going around, and he finds this lady player who he kind of falls in love with, and they're walking around, and it's all a bit soppy, and then they find this child, and they're like, we should totally adopt this child. And then they get this little house by the lake, and the kid is the most irritatingly voiced thing ever, and it's like, Mommy, Daddy, and they're just totally on board with it. And I'm thinking, this is absolute shit, and I'm so done with this anime. And that was the last time I watched an anime.
Wow, fair enough.
I know there's lots of good anime out there, and
Full Metal Alchemist is a great anime.
Bebop Cowboy I've also heard is very
Yeah.
good too. I got loads of recommendations from Robert Ramsey actually,
Of course
and
you
I
did.
would like to watch them at some point. But you know, I've got
Gundam's good.
got Parks and Recreation to watch, and lots of. It's the golden age of television.
I've
I've just
almost
started watching
finished
House of
Daredevil.
Cards. Have you
Yeah.
liking that?
It's alright. There's some real slow episodes to it.
I love Daredevil. Have you watched Jessica Jones yet?
No, that's next.
Badass.
Yeah.
Such a good series. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. Sword Art Online Hollow Realization is a game that is coming out. That'll be a Robert Ramsey review title, I can guarantee you that. In fact, by the time it comes out, Robert Ramsey may be a regular on this podcast.
Ooh.
Depending on how current plans are going, but we'll see.
Hint, hint.
So your weeaboo factor will be up a good 50%.
I won't be allowed to say
recurring
weeaboo
percent.
anymore, will
No,
I?
you won't, and we shouldn't anyway, because it's very rude.
Is it?
No, it's not. I think people are just oversensitive.
Right, good.
If you can't laugh at yourself,
Who can you laugh at?
weeaboos.
No.
Hyper Light Drifter.
I am so excited for this one.
What is this?
It's been heralded as like a kind of techno Zelda game.
That sounds...
So it's like a pixel animated RPG style game. It looks really cool, really artistic. It's got like prints and stuff on I Am 8-bit that look amazing.
Really?
The soundtrack I've had on my iPod, and I listen to it when I work and stuff. I love it.
Cool.
It looks really, really cool. It doesn't have a console release date yet, slated for 2016, but it is currently out on PC and Mac. I actually bought it on Mac, and I don't want to play it. I want to play it on PlayStation.
console.
Yeah, so
Cool.
And this also replaces, you eagle-eyed viewers, listeners might realise that this replaces Furi on this list, because at the time
It's
of recording it's out.
It is out.
For PS Plus.
And finally, Neo, which is also currently slated for 2016, which you've also noted here replaces the Banner Saga 2, which is out now.
It was coming out on my birthday.
Was it?
Yeah, so it's come really far forward, like a whole month.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah.
Totally done and ready to go. Neo, I didn't play the original, did you? I knew a couple of people that did, but they weren't blown away by it, but this seems to have a huge following. Lots of people came out the woodwork when it was shown off at E3 last year saying, oh my god, Neo, I love Neo!
Japanese Dark Souls.
I just never knew that there was such
Dark
a
Souls
love for the
Japanese,
series.
but, you know,
Yeah, it is
Japanese style.
Right.
There we go. Got it.
Saved it there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anyway, that's the top 20 games still to come in 2016. Now it's time to talk to Joey Thurmond about Umbrella Corps. Psst. Stop it. And now joining us on the phone again is Joey Thurmond, staff writer. Hello, Joey.
Hello, Ben and Ben. Nice to be here again.
You're very welcome to be here anytime, man. How's it going? How are you?
I'm doing well. Just enjoying a lot of the summer and spending a lot of it doing some summer classes. That's great. But I'm making up for that boredom by obsessing over Overwatch. It's a lovely game. I try to play it every day, and it's like the most fun I've had with a multiplayer shooter in forever. So yeah, that's taken up a lot of my time.
Well, as much as I'm sure you'd like to talk about a game that you enjoy, you have just reviewed Umbrella Corps. Now, as an American, how do you say that name? Is it Corpse or Core?
Well, it's Core.
Core. I see that.
Yeah. Yeah, Corpse is it's the wrong pronunciation as far as I know.
There we go. Maybe I'm saying it wrong then. We were having a debate earlier on. We couldn't work out what it was. I thought it was Core, but there we go.
Oh, well, that's why I kind of played on that with my subtitle in the review. Like Corpse Party. Except that's the wrong way to say it. Hey.
Like that. Yeah. Here's a like
Honey.
Shut up. So you gave it a 3 out of 10. It's not the best reviewed game that we've had someone on to talk about. In fact, it is far and away the worst game we've had someone on to talk about. But we want to talk to you, about that and your experience, your traumatic experience with playing and reviewing it for pushsquare.com. What is this game? Because it is part of the Resident Evil series. It comes under the same umbrella. But, but what is it? Is it a third-person shooter? Is it a squad shooter? Like, what do you do? What is the premise of this game? It's
a third-person, air quotes, tactical, multiplayer shooter. It falls under the Resident Evil universe and everything. And you got a multiplayer mode, and there's like a single-player mode as well where you can do all these missions. But, I got into the game and I started playing the tutorial, and I'm like, okay, this, seems kind of promising. Famitsu, they gave it a really good review over there in Japan. I was like, oh, okay, this actually might be fun. And, in the tutorial, they have all these cool mechanics you can use about, like, traversing the environments and getting under all this cover. There's like doors you can open that change the flow of the map. There's all these different mechanics you can use, like you can actually grab zombies as body shields. And when you have your pistol out, you have this little shield that you deploy that I guess would help you not get shot as much. There's all these different things that would imply that it's a really good tactical shooter that emphasizes teamwork. And I was like, okay, this seems good, but like in execution, it just has so many problems with, for example, the gameplay. Trying to like moving around and shooting, it's so fast paced, and it really emphasizes like action instead of like slowly and methodically trying to take on the other team. And even the modes themselves, like they're all geared towards these really small skirmishes that end really quickly. And that's because the maps are really small and everybody just rushes each other with these melee weapons called brainers, and most people don't even bother using the weapons because they're one-hit KO weapons. Right. And they're so unbalanced, and all the weapons they feel so similar, and the game almost seems like it's just a hodgepodge of like really, it has some good ideas in there, but they just don't fit in the game that well. It tries to be a tactical shooter, but in execution, it's just anything but.
Right. So are you sort of like a cleanup crew going into an infected city, or you say you were you were facing other people that were using these weapons. Is it online all the time, or is it local multiplayer, or is that just the multiplayer portion of it?
Well, yeah, that's just the multiplayer portion I'm talking about. I think the premise of it is, I think it's just Umbrella Corps agents training or something, because they fight each other. I think it might be a virtual training system or something. I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense why they'd be fighting each other. But yeah, it's them fighting each other in the multiplayer mode. And in the single player mode, you would think it'd be like its own campaign, like what was it called? The Resident Evil, that other multiplayer game that came out.
Raccoon City?
Yeah, that's it. Operation Raccoon City. That had its own campaign, and it was entirely different from the multiplayer mode, I think. And you would think they would do that with this game, but they don't. It's actually just all the same multiplayer maps, and it's basically all the same modes in multiplayer 2, just with like a survival twist. So like in multiplayer, there's a mode where you have to collect all these samples, and you have to get to like the highest amount before the time goes out compared to the other team. So in the single player, they just take the same concept, and all you have to do is get to a certain amount and you win the round. And you do like those kind of missions over and over and over and over and over again in single player. And it's so bad. Like it gets so repetitive over time, and I just don't understand really why this game even exists in the first place.
Especially as they've taken such a U-turn. They must have known that they were going to be taking the direction they were with Resident Evil 7 quite a while ago. So it's weird that they thought it's almost like we need to blow off all of our dumb action steam somehow. Let's release this thing.
Yeah, right. And, I really think it could work for Resident Evil as a spinoff. I mean, obviously it wouldn't be like classic Resident Evil, but I mean, I think it'd be in concept like playing as Umbrella Corps agents, as you're fighting against each other and using teamwork to navigate the maps, and like even using the zombies around the maps to your advantage, and ambushing the enemy and using all this different equipment at your disposal. Like it all sounds really cool, like Rainbow Six Siege, all this different teamwork that's going on, but they just squander all of the game's potential. Any good ideas that are in the game just don't play out well, and in the end, the game functions, like it works. I mean, I'm not saying that it's broken in a lot of ways. Everything is so poorly implemented, and it's so generic compared to like any other kind or most kinds of third-person shooters and tactical games you can find on the market. Yeah, it's very disappointing, and it's definitely it shames the license it borrows from.
So saying that, obviously it is part of the Resident Evil kind of franchise, but for those that haven't played a Resident Evil game, how does it sit? Can you just jump in? You don't need to know anything about it, or do you get? Oh heck yeah!
Like
about the franchise?
there's no story to follow. There's nothing you need to understand. Like even the single player, I don't get it. Like it has this like these little prompts like before each mission, and it's like this. It's poorly written dialogue about this person who's testing the Umbrella Corps agent, which is you, and it's like, oh, he's made it past the first test. Now time to really see if he has potential. Blah blah. And it's just like these little blurbs that chronicle this agent's progression through all the trials, and they don't make sense. Like they're entirely pointless. You could play all the single player missions without reading any of that stuff. It's just a lame excuse to tack on some kind of narrative, if you will, on there. And yeah, like you could jump into this game. I mean, you could the Resident Evil license, it's not even really necessary for this game. Like, right. You could just take it away and it wouldn't even matter.
Does the game even have Resident Evil in the title, or is it just Umbrella Corps?
That's the thing I was confused about at first. I think it's just called Umbrella Corps.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
Umbrella Corps.
So that it's not even got the brand, so it's got absolutely no chance of selling any units anyway, because people are going to
Only people who know what Resident Evil is are going to know, like, oh yeah, that's Resident Evil.
How diehard of a Resident Evil fan do you have to be to think, you know what, 3 out of 10, it's worth a risk? That is not a good score. Like
No.
that is, you would give it a go if it was a 6 or a 7, but 3, you know,
You have to be die hard if
really
you want to
would.
go with this.
you really would. And without the brand recognition of Resident Evil in the actual title or on the box,
Yeah.
the average punter is not going to care. They're
Yeah.
not going to think twice about it, which is, they've really sold it down the river.
It really boils down to why. Why is this in existence? Why are they
About our
wasting
loss
time
things.
on this?
I ask it about you every day.
Hey!
Hey.
But it's not good.
No, it's not. It's not that good at all. I mean,
Just to confirm.
the only way I can see people having a little bit of fun with this is
blow it
if
up.
they get with 3 friends. Like even the matches themselves, like the max amount of people you can have for your teams are 3.
Right.
And I really think it should have been a little more, and the match should have been much bigger.
Right.
But with these, if you want to get together with friends and just have a laugh, it's at the gameplay and some of the hilarious things that happen in the game, you can go ahead and do that. But if you want to go into it seriously and just have a fun Resident Evil experience, you're not going to have it at all.
And there we go. The review is now live on pushsquare.com. 3 out of 10. Joey, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Cheers, Joey.
It's my pleasure.
Indie Bin.
Hooray!
Section of the show where we take an independently developed game
Yes.
and we decide if it's Indie Bin
Yep.
or Outdy Bin.
Not do bin.
Naughty Bin.
Yeah. What's up today, man?
Today we've got Furi, the offering from PS Plus.
Furi.
Furi. It's like an evil Furby. Furi.
Kind of.
Not
What is
really.
this game?
Do you know what? I don't know. It's so weird. It doesn't seem to slot into anything. It does its own thing, and it does it surprisingly well.
Huh.
I sunk a lot of time into this actually, and I'm still not sure what it is, where it really falls into. You start off as you're this guy, and you're some kind of weapon that's been imprisoned for reasons.
Right.
You break out with the help of a rabbit person apparition. Think kind of Frank from Donnie Darko.
Okay.
It's very. I am still of the belief that it's his.
Future self.
Not even that. It's like a part of his mind.
Right, so kind of just
Deranged
like Donnie
mind.
Darko anyway.
You
What's-
basically.
Sorry, what's the art style like for this? Is it...
It's super like vibrant, colourful,
Okay, so it's not quite as like,
psychedelic-y.
dark.
No. It's a complete other end of the spectrum. It's like
Okay.
in your face, garish, super techno, drum and bass, wub wub music, which is really good.
Wobs, yeah.
It's really good. Really suits it.
Sick wobs, yeah.
But it's really odd because the gameplay is just you walk from section to section, and in each you reach a point where you have some kind of a boss fight.
Okay.
It feels like a boss fight. So the entire gameplay is combat, and then walking, and then another combat scenario, then walking. But it's only ever against like one person.
Right.
And they're quite formulaic boss fights. So you have like you have like 3 dots under your health bar, and if you use up when you empty your health bar, that dot goes, and then you empty your health bar again, that dot goes, and it's how many dots you've got are like lives, KOs.
Okay.
You fight them in like the bosses. I suppose they're bosses, but there's no one else to fight, so they're just
normal characters.
Yeah, but with boss kind of difficulty.
Right, I did hear it was a game of boss fights.
Yeah, which is quite common, isn't?
Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, exactly. It's that. Yeah, it's kind of like that in a way, but you just walk from Colossus to
But no
Colossus.
horse trauma.
Yeah. It starts off isometric, top down,
Yeah.
kind of thing, and you can shoot and you can like slash and stuff like that. And then once you get them down to a certain point, it then changes to a slightly different angle that's more like on its level, and you can view both characters kind of head on rather than top down. And it's hack and slashy then, and it's all based on parrying at the right time. So it's a good mix, and it's really difficult. Really difficult. It gives you an easy option, which I think if you're new to this, I'd play through a couple of the bosses like that, and then once you've got the vibe of it, go back and play it on the normal difficulty.
Yeah.
Because even the normal difficulty was difficult. The animation doesn't seem to sit with the art style. The art style is gorgeous. The surrounding environment is really cool. It's really unique, really vibrant, and like I said, it wobby.
Yeah.
But the animations are so squiffy. Like, capes have a mind of their own, randomly flicking up and wobbling all over the place. Hair seems to just attack everybody.
That's a shame.
It really, really detracts from everything. Especially when the guy is standing there grimacing, looking like menacing at this boss, and his hair's going. It just really seems silly. But overall, it's really interesting. I still don't really know where it's going, and I've sunk quite a bit of time into it.
Okay.
The combat, like I said, is really challenging, but because it's so difficult, when you pull it off and you actually beat these people, it's really rewarding. And if you get a flow going, because it is formulaic, it is like you've got to do this at this point. It's not as free flow as you think it is until you realise that you've done the same pattern. So once you get that pattern, you nail it, and it's actually such an adrenaline rush. But there's no story that's clear cut. It's very Donnie Darko in the sense that it's very ambiguous for most of it.
Right.
And that's a good hook. I like that.
Okay. Originally reviewed 7 out of 10.
Yep.
By our resident associate editor, Robert Ramsey.
Yeah. And I agree. I definitely leave it out the bin.
It's out the bin.
Yeah.
It's made it out of the bin.
And for a PS Plus as well, go and pick it up right now.
Fire up the JPEG, folks. That developer is getting a JPEG in an email with a white background.
Not even ping.
Not even a PNG. No, it's going to be terrible. But they've earned it. Out the bin. Furi.
So here's something a little bit different. It's not that different because Push Square already do it. It's their what are you playing this week?
Not one single original thought on this podcast.
To be fair, we probably should have done this a long time ago.
Yeah,
but we are going to tell you what we're playing.
What are we playing?
What are we playing? Well, I am playing Dark Souls 3 still.
Still?
Because I have decided, I finished it with you the other
you brought
day.
your PS4 over and we smashed through the rest of it, so you could tick that off.
Yep. And I went straight into New Game Plus like a fool instead of wrapping stuff up.
Instead of clearing up some of those trophies.
So now I am working on clearing up the trophies. I got really, really close to getting all pyromancies, miracles and sorceries, and I killed...
Oh no.
Well, she stopped being a merchant, the Arena of Karim.
Right.
The miracle seller, the merchant.
Yes.
I bought all of her dark miracles, so she got a bit pissy with me, and then stopped being a merchant, and then I had to kill her. So I killed her. So, and I had one more tome left to give her.
So you got her ashes, so you could give it to...
Oh, can you give the ashes to...
You give the ashes to the lady, and then she sells all the stuff that person had.
You can't
but
give her
you
the
can't
tome.
give her the tome.
So it's useless to me.
There's another person you can give dark sorceries to, though.
Yeah, Carla, but I haven't got Carla at the
quest
time.
line, yeah. I was getting agonised texts from you, like, intermittently over the weekend, just saying, "Oh, what? I have to get all gestures too? Oh,
I can't believe I'm not going to be able to do the gestures, but I'm desperate.
It's a tough plan, though, man.
I'm so close to getting it.
It's really, really time consuming.
I've literally got to get. I've done all infusions now. I need to get. I've got all pyromancies. I just need to do the Covenant one, and I've got all sorceries. I just need to do the Covenant.
Covenants are a total pain.
I'm not far from them, though.
You are going to be grinding like a mother.
I'm not far from them. I've got quite a lot of vertebrae shackles stacked up.
Because they're just vertebrate shackles because they're individual.
Oh, okay, vertebrate shackles.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I've got a lot of the Covenant items. I just haven't cashed them in yet. So
Right.
I need to be rank 1 for those respectives.
Yeah,
It's the Miracles Covenant that's going to absolutely bugger me.
Is that the Dark Moon?
Yeah.
That one sucks.
Yeah, so I've got those to do. But if you have any Covenant items that you fancy dropping,
can't.
oh, that's so balls! This game sucks. It's really cool.
It's a broken system, really,
Yeah.
because I know a lot of people will argue and they think Dark Souls is like it can't do anything wrong. It's the golden child, but there are a lot of things in this game that are really buggered. For example, the Dark Moon things is a perfect example because that's the what are they called?
Way of the Blue?
No. They're the name of the Covenant. That's the Covenant where you get summoned in automatically to someone who's in the Way of the Blue Covenant to help them if there's an invader.
Right.
But by the time you're looking at farming that stuff, there's going to be no one in your co-op range that is in Way of the Blue.
Yeah.
And so you'll never get summoned in. So your only choice is to farm them from a particular enemy, and they're such a rare drop that you're just doing this for hours, and that's broken. That is not right. It shouldn't be like that. And you shouldn't have to start a new game to get those items. It's absurd. Yeah. And even then, you're doing New Game Plus, and who on earth in New Game Plus is going to be in the Way of the Blue Covenant?
Yeah, exactly.
No one's going to be doing that. It's stupid. You're not going to be able to do it without farming, which is rubbish. Something my friend suggested to me, which would fix the whole system, is that rather than having to be summoned into someone who's in the Way of the Blue Covenant, if you've just got summoned into someone who's in the Dark Moon Covenant.
Yeah.
So if you're in the Dark Moon Covenant and then you get invaded, someone else in the Dark Moon Covenant will come in. That would fix it, because people are far more likely to be in the Dark Moon Covenant at that level because they finished the game, they're looking for the trophies, they're probably needing those bloody items.
Yeah. I reckon they'll make that change along with the poise stat as well.
You reckon?
Hidetech's come out and said that the poise stat's broken and he wants to fix it.
Okay.
So,
I don't think they'll change the Covenant. I think they'll just leave it, which is a real shame. But I did it. You can do it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just going to be really boring.
I'm also playing Resogun on Vita.
Oh, how is it on Vita?
Going for that platinum as well. It's brilliant on Vita. Yeah. I really, really like it. I play that on my commute. Yeah.
Look at you with a commute.
I know.
Businessman.
It's horrible.
I have to walk 3 minutes.
I used to have that.
Yeah.
Like a 5-minute walk up a hill. But now I've got like an hour and a half commute.
Yeah, I did the hour-long commute stuck in traffic on a motorway thing for a year and a half, and it nearly killed me. So now whenever I get a new job, I always look to live at least 10 minutes walk away. I don't want to have to drive anywhere, really. Not anymore. Can't do it.
I mean, get this. I got to halfway through my journey, and from halfway to the office was about 25 minutes on the tubes. It took me an hour and 20 minutes because of tube delays this morning.
Oh,
so it took me nearly 2.5, nearly 3 hours to get to work this morning.
I rarely have to go on the tube during rush hour, but I was coming back from my friend's last night, and it sucked. Like I was holding my bag and I had nowhere to put it down.
Yep.
So I was sort of lifting it like this, and my arm was dying and my hand was dying, and then the train couldn't leave because it was so packed. Someone got in the way of the doors further down, so we were stuck there for about 10 minutes. We just holding it, waiting to get to the next station.
Wishing you were dead.
Oh, it was rubbish. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. You playing anything else?
I'm going to start playing... I'm playing Furi, obviously.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep playing that because I want to know what's going on. Mm-hmm. I can't remember the name of it, but I bought something. It was like £2.50. It's like 3/4 home. And it's like an interactive story.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm going to start playing that.
All right.
What are you playing?
This weekend, as I said, I've been at a friend's house for a few days, and we started by finishing off Dark Souls 2's DLC, because I got Scholar of the First Sin 3/4 home. That's the game you got.
That is 3/4 home.
That's a pretty good review scores.
Yeah, it's got really good review scores.
Let me know how that is.
You in now, I just googled it. But yeah, it's like an interactive story, and it's just come out on PS4.
Sounds interesting. Let me know how you find it, because I might be interested in getting that.
Yeah, it looks like.
Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin.
Oh, how are you playing that? What is going on with the weapon durability?
Whoa!
It's broken.
Wow! What an explosion of emotion!
I really wanted to play it, and I settled down, wanted to play it, and then my sword broke.
Dark Souls 2 takes all the stuff you learned in Dark Souls 1 and throws it out the window. It just makes up its own rules. It introduces hexes, and Hidetaka quite rightly, when he came back for Dark Souls 2, was like, those are stupid, let's not do that. All these things you did where the torches have a time limit, no thank you, we're not doing that anymore. This is ridiculous. There's a lot of stuff in Dark Souls 2 that just annoys the hell out of me because it's so stupid and doesn't make any sense. It's like, why would they make that worse?
Yeah.
Why would they make that worse? Especially coming back, because I finished Dark Souls 3 and then started playing through Dark Souls 2. Because I played it through at the time. But yeah, I started playing the PS4 re-release. And God, there are some stupid things. Like you 90% of the time, you hit your weapon on something. So if you're in a room, the enemies will swing right through the room, but you'll just keep whacking the wall and go, whoa, I can't hit him. It's stupid.
Is there a way to fix the weapon durability? Because
you have to carry around repair powder, which is not a cheap or common item. Yeah, it's stupid. Or you just have to sit at bonfires regularly.
Rubbish.
Again, not ideal. Some would argue that it adds an element of forcing you to be tactical about how you're playing, but there's enough of that crap in the game already. Don't add another thing we have to juggle to.
Encourage me to run through all the enemies.
Just like I have a club. I went for the first time. I went for a pure strength build.
Okay.
And my strength is 99.
Wow.
And I've got an S ranking scaling with strength club that I use, and it breaks so easy. Like, I've had it break in the middle of boss fights.
Wow.
And sometimes because I don't often look at the durability meter in the bottom left-hand corner.
Especially coming from Dark Souls 3, where it just wasn't a problem.
Well, exactly. And sometimes, it should say beforehand, club is at risk, or whatever.
Yeah,
and you'd know, okay,
yeah.
I need to fix that. But a number of times, it would say, club is at risk, club is broken. Like, oh, that's great. So now I can't even repair it. I have to wait until I go all the way back to Firelink, and then I can clear, or whatever the hell it's called. Firelink? Medulla.
You have to
go all the way back
it
to Medulla to get it repaired at the blacksmith. That's stupid. What they should have done is done away with the whole getting it repaired at the blacksmith and using repair powder to restore the durability. What they should have done is you use it until it breaks, and then when it breaks, you use the repair powder to fix it.
Yes.
And that would have been so much better. This is just annoying. It's just adding an extra element of why to the whole proceedings. Anyway, finished off all the DLC. I've beaten all the bosses. No trophies, weirdly, for the DLCs, which I don't really understand.
Huh.
But I've done all of those, so that's it. I've completely finished Dark Souls 2 in every way, which is quite nice.
Nice.
And then I started playing through the Handsome Collection, Borderlands.
Yeah.
Now, I love Borderlands.
Yeah, you do.
I know the general tone and message on the site is that Borderlands is the worst thing ever made. And I can understand why it would be divisive, but I love Borderlands.
I quite like it.
Platinumed Borderlands 1 and 2, and I really enjoyed the pre-sequel as well. And I've had it for ages on PS4, but I've just started playing through Borderlands 2 with a couple of my friends when I was over there. Just having so much fun. Really,
it's good
really
in co-op,
enjoyed
isn't it?
Got most of the trophies in that time that I was there,
Really?
so I think I'm going to go for another platinum in Borderlands 2 because I really like it. And this weekend, my brother is coming to stay again.
Cool.
And his copy of the Handsome Collection is over
I
there.
saw a shrink wrapped.
So we're going to play through the pre-sequel.
Cool.
I love me some Borderlands, and I can't wait until this disastrous experiment that Gearbox has done with what's it called, Battleborn, is over, and they finally just give people what they want. Because it seems that really they kind of got lucky with Borderlands, because they made the Brother in Arms games, but other than Borderlands, they really haven't had much luck in the development
Colonial
department.
Marines.
Battleborn. So maybe they just kind of need to stick to the same formula, and I'd be kind of happy with that, to be honest, in a very selfish way. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
So that wraps up that relatively new section that we've stolen from an old thing on Push Square.
Yes.
Let us know what you're playing. We'd love to hear it. Let's get talking. If you want to tell Push Square what you're playing, they do this article every week.
Yeah, usually towards the weekend.
Yep, like Friday, Saturday time. Keep an eye out for that. But yeah, let us know what you think.
Let's move on to some questions. Question section. If you want to ask us questions, you can go to pushsquare.com/forums, and then under the online communities section, we are stickied right to the top. We asked for questions, you're letting us down.
Yeah,
to be
guys.
perfectly honest, we're asking for questions and you're not giving them to us. I know we don't have an email address, and some of you might be listening who aren't necessarily site regulars or have no interest in signing up and going to the forum. I understand that, so that might be difficult for you.
So we might set up a...
I don't think we can set up an email address. I don't know the logistics of that. Sammy, let us know. Is that possible? Ant, is that possible? I don't know if it would actually get any traffic or usage, but you can find us in the forums at the moment.
Yes.
And that is where we're taking our questions from. So we only have a couple of questions this week. Three. But let's kick it off with Kid Fried, who I don't think ever clarified what his username was pronounced. So it's a fried kid. Do you own any non-Sony consoles, and do you play on them? He's owned a lot of different consoles, but since PS4, just owned that.
I own the... What do I own? I own a Vita and a PS3 and a PS4. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I have a GameCube, N64, Game Boy, 3DS. I have that as well. I've actually got a Sega. I think it's a knockoff Sega that like collects loads of different games on it.
Oh, right.
Sega Genesis.
I don't know.
I think I've got.
I'm asking the wrong guy.
I can't remember. I've got one of those. It's like a plug-in and play TV thing. So I don't think it's an official Sega thing.
Right.
Well, it must be because it's got. Well, I don't know. Got it off eBay.
It's from Hong Kong. It's probably legit.
Yeah. So it's basically Nintendo stuff I've got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a 3DS, all the Game Boy crap that you mentioned as well.
Yeah.
I had a 360 briefly. I had a Wii, but
I've got a Wii. I've broken the lens on it, so I'm just fixing the lens, and I'm gonna I do have a Wii.
Playing.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, the PS4 is enough for me. I've
barely got enough time to play PS4 games.
Yeah, and apart from that, I've just got my... Why is my PS3 on, actually? I've just noticed my PS3 is on. God knows how long that's been on.
Oh, Christ,
no wonder it was warm in here.
Yeah.
Let me just go ahead and turn that off.
I mean, that's essentially a radiator, isn't it, when you turn it on? I actually did that. My room was ridiculously cold, so I turned my PS3 on and it warmed it up.
Was that the fat PS3 or the slim?
Fat,
yeah, that is. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Jet turbine.
But yeah, that's it. That's it for me.
Yeah, so much the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so our other contribution from the forum, the McNoisy.
Yeah.
I really like this question. I think this is really good.
Okay.
Character with the best fashion sense.
Ooh.
This is tough. If you say Nathan Drake, I'm going to have to backhand you. Naked Drake.
Naked Drake.
With his little hipster scarf.
Hey, that has a very practical use. You're the one who wears hipster scarves.
I do. I like scarves.
Nathan Drake was in a desert.
I was in London.
Right. I don't know, actually. I haven't given it too much thought, but just by going on how fashionable one looks, Handsome Jack is quite a fashionable fellow.
The handsome fellow.
He's a handsome fellow, yeah.
Hey.
Stop it. You got any ideas? You got any people?
Just racking my brains here. Just racking my brains.
Right,
to be fair, the cast of Persona.
Oh, they are all pretty stylish, aren't they?
Stylish,
They are very well designed in that they all have their unique look.
And their flying coats when they do their special moves.
And their lovely hair.
Yeah.
All got lovely
hair.
hair.
The hair is lovely.
No two characters have the same hair, which is nice.
Which is rare.
Yeah, rare hair.
Rare hair.
Rare bear hair, bro.
Stop.
Okay.
I liked Joel's flannel shirt as well.
Yeah, I'd hardly call that fashionable, though. Just a necessity,
I
isn't
love
it?
a flannel shirt, man.
You can love a flannel shirt, but if it's all you've got to wear, it's not fashion, is it?
It's not.
It's not fashion.
It's practical.
I do like those flying blanket things in Journey.
I was just gonna
Some fashionable scarf wearing that
scarf.
game. The scarf and the blankets. Beautiful stuff. Really nice. I'm sure there's tons that we could say, but I'm not thinking clearly. Yeah. Bayonetta has her hair.
Yeah.
Quite fashionable. But again,
Just looking at
that's
your
all
games.
That's all she's got to
Trying
wear.
to see if there's...
My PS4 games.
Yeah.
There's nothing too exciting in there, unfortunately.
Actually, to be fair, Sackboy's got some good style.
Oh yeah.
That guy wears anything.
He's a fashionable mother, that guy.
Little chameleon on the fashion one.
I like Kat's outfit in Gravity Rush.
What?
She's got like a black and gold swimsuit, essentially. It's pretty cool looking.
I'm raising my eyebrows at you.
Why? Women are allowed to wear swimsuits and not be sexy, Taryn, you massive misogynist. But I can't really think of too many other things, to be honest. There were some great outfits in the Order 1886.
Oh, they were cool.
They had some cool uniforms. I like those.
They were cool.
Again, not really sure if that's fashion or a necessity. An enforced style choice, but there we go. Finally, Sammy Barker, King Barker asks, worst thing Ben Potter has done for trophies?
Now, this comes on the back of my Trial by Fire last episode where I was trying to secure the Benevolent Leader trophy for Fallout 4.
Someone did ask, actually, if you got that in the end.
No. No is the answer. I got to 97 and then it dropped down to 82.
What?
And I just gave up.
What did you do?
I did nothing. I left it on for 3 hours, and it dropped.
Oh my god! Did another nuke drop or something?
I'm not going to try.
Still,
for
only a
that
10%
anymore.
drop for a nuke is really good, isn't it? We are mildly irked by this.
I'm going to restart the game, pick up the last few story stuff that I need, and then I'm just going to go full ham, like spend the whole game, scrap everything, not use anything, and then I'm just going to go ham with clinics and stuff and see if I can do it.
Don't do what we did and just put them all down at the same time. Put a few down, wait until it goes up, and then put another couple of down when it goes down.
I'll start it again, and I'll do that on my next playthrough, which is inevitable because I need to do it to mop up story stuff.
Yeah, stupid story stuff.
Worst thing you've done?
Worst thing I've done for a platinum, actually, it is
just a trophy in general.
Oh, just where is a platinum really? It's on PS4. I would say this is probably. I mean, I'm completely disconnected from what is a good thing and what is a bad thing to do with trophies because I will kill a person for a trophy. But I would imagine this would be the most hilarious / disagreeable thing that I have done.
Disagreeable? Where is this going?
So, Batman Arkham Knight.
Right.
I really enjoyed that game.
Okay.
I got every trophy in that game, apart from one.
Right.
Which was the free flow challenge, where you had to get, I think it wasn't every combo, but it was like 27 different moves in one combo, or something ridiculous like that. And there was only one free flow challenge that you could feasibly do it on, because it had environmental takedowns and stuff that you could use to bump it up as well, and you could switch between him and Nightwing, Batman and Nightwing. But it was a total pain in the arse. You'd think you'd be getting the flow, but you'd pause it between moves, and then you'd press the buttons you need, but he wouldn't grab someone. He'd just sort of lunge at the air, and your combo would be broken. Or someone would just run up and go, boop, with a stick, and that would break your combo. It was infuriating.
Yeah, bad.
So, on another podcast that I do, a listener reached out to me. A Canadian listener.
I know where this is
Very
going.
nice man. And he said, I'll help you get that trophy. And so I used SharePlay.
Yeah.
And I left him to it. And then I came back an hour later and it was done.
Amazing.
And I felt a bit dirty. So
I don't think that's too bad.
So I gave him $20 Canadian PSN voucher credit.
Okay, so you paid someone.
So
right.
I used him for free, and then I felt bad, and I paid him
though.
off. I paid him off.
That's good.
So $20 Canadian is what my integrity is worth.
See, I don't think that's that bad.
Right.
Because, you know the ring trophy in Dark Souls 3?
Oh, yeah.
I found on eBay that you can pay and someone will come
Drop
into your
you those
game
items.
and drop all of the rings.
That's kind of... I mean, you tend not to get that with trophies now, but they used to do that kind of stuff in like RuneScape, for example.
Yeah.
You could pay a $5 for gold and someone would add you and then
Yeah.
drop it to you, whatever, which is absurd.
It's dodgy because there's no kind of
And
right
you know
of-
me, and I can do that for you because I have all the rings, so I can just give them to
Can
you.
you just do that?
Yeah, I can
Oh,
just
okay.
give them to you.
It's only a quid,
I already offered to quid. I already offered to give you the rings anyway. But if you're talking about bad things, when I first started my my trophy obsession, and I wanted to just get good, not get good trophies. Obviously, that's not what I did at all. I just wanted to get a high trophy count just to get off,
Don't say that again.
And so I would regularly look up games, especially on PS3, where it was so easy to copy your save data onto a USB stick, where you could load save data from the internet that was slightly fiddled with, and then just all these trophies would ping. There were like 2 or 3 games like that. Fuel, I think, was one where you would get 99% of the trophies, and the last trophy was literally just discovering an area in the open world, and then you would get the platinum. Prince of Persia game had a weird thing where you would get like 60% of the trophies. There was a Buzz quiz game that also gave you about 40% of the trophies. You know,
That's way worse. Why
These
didn't you open
titles
with
were
that?
like, well, I just thought when money exchanged hands for someone else got the trophy for me.
You jimmied it. You like downloaded saves to get trophies. You're a fraud.
In the old days, yeah, on the PS3 days, back when I only had like 10 platinums, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do this right. However, since then, all my own work, apart from the $20 that I paid someone else to get me a trophy. But there we go. Yeah, I've done some pretty heinous things, but I don't give a That's going to be fun to bleep.
Yeah, that's going to be horrible to bleep.
Come at me, Mother Hubbards. I don't care. Let's move on to the end of the show.
So, coming up on pushsquare.com is not that much. But look forward to reviews of Carmageddon, Lego Star Wars, 7 Days to Die. It's really quiet everywhere in the world of gaming.
In the world of gaming, yes, thank you.
It's, that lull after E3.
The summer drought is here.
The sun's shining, developers go outside and actually get some vitamin D.
They don't.
They don't.
I can assure you.
But yeah, that's all coming up. Where else can they find this great PlayStation content?
Well, what?
Hashtag content.
Hashtag content.
Hashtag.
Sick content, bro. If you want all that coming straight to your social media feeds, then you got to follow us on Twitter at PushSquare or find us on Facebook.com/PushSquare. And if you'd rather see than read, you've just written a want to rather than read. That's great. Thanks for the script, Ben.
Want to see rather than read.
Want rather see than to read.
Want to see rather than read.
Rather than to. Then you've got to go to YouTube.
That makes sense.
Look, I know I'm in the wrong. I'm just messing with you, all right? Just let me have this. YouTube.com/PushSquare is where you want to go to find streams, vlogs, and other video shenanigans. And you go there if you want to see rather than read. I don't know if you heard that,
Don't be
Ben.
horrible about my notes.
And where else can they go?
No, I'm not going to tell you.
Okay, well, Push Square Podcast can also be found on SoundCloud, Stitcher, and iTunes, where you can leave us a nice review. 5 stars, please, 5 stars. We need the ego points to survive, and it would very much appreciate it. And also make sure you keep it locked to pushsquare.com. It's the best PlayStation site on the internet, and if anyone tells you otherwise, you can punch them in the face, and that's a rule. Thanks, Ben.
It's alright, well, you did all of that. You stole all of my thunder for that.
You just stay home next time.
Yeah, I don't even need to be.
So how you doing, Mr. Tarrant? I'm doing very well, thank you, Ben. That's good, it's good. Let's do a podcast. Yes, I agree, let's do this. Anyway, let's go.
There you go, that's episode 11 done.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Push Square Podcast. For the latest PlayStation news, reviews, and features, visit www.pushsquare.com.